Israel is living on death and destruction, on blood. It's a kind of a militarized vampire nation. At the moment, the only people who are punished are the victims, like the Palestinians, the Iranians, etc. So I think this is unacceptable and will bring the end of humanity. Israel is the destructive engine, the chaos engine of the West. This is how it started since 1948. It joined the two decrepit empires in 1956 by attacking the brightest light in the Arab world, President Nasser, and his Pan-Arabism program of having a new modern Arab world. The minute that he talked about that, he became a target. And Egypt became a target, of course. And so Israel started with the colonial powers and is still with the colonial powers. One thing which is good is that the colonial powers are in serious decline, in terminal decline. And Israel is sharing also this terminal decline. I believe that Zionism is on the way out because it is a movement of the 19th century and we're living in the 21st. But that might be too optimistic. But what is in it for Israel and what do we need to do in order to defeat it? Israel is living on death and destruction, on blood. Yeah, it's a kind of a militarized vampire nation. They live on producing death and destruction and advertising it as a way of selling their wares, which are all causing death and destruction. And they sell it by the unwritten line tried on Palestinians in Gaza. They don't need to tell anyone that that's what they have done. Actually, a lot of these weapons don't work. And we've seen that in the 12-day war. But they sell. That's the most important thing. And now Europe, due to the situation in Ukraine, Europe is a great buyer of those systems that don't work. Like, Kippad Barzel, all those systems that don't work are selling very well. They're also selling to India. India is a major buyer of Israel, and India, of course, is a nuclear nation. So Israel is now helping India by working with the Baluchis, which, of course, they are no strangers to the situation in Iran as well, with the Baluchis against Pakistan. So Israel has worked out a plan of how to control Western Asia and is well on the way to achieving it. And Mark Huckabee, shall I call him the ambassador of Israel in Israel? Because he's definitely not an ambassador of the United States, and he doesn't represent real American needs and values. I believe the American people are a decent people with a great history. So they don't need this government and its dogs. And he's one of the dogs. He's a Christian Zionist. He's slightly more extreme than Netanyahu, probably. And totally in agreement that Israel can take, he said that, not
take it all.
Take it all, we'll help you, take it all. So all this is done for a reason. The Israelis act with a lot of sadism, but sadism is not the motive. The motive is control. The motive is running the Middle East. And Iran is standing there as a great opposition to that aim and objective of Israel. So unless the way they think about it, unless we move Iran out of the way And that means total destruction. It's not Venezuela. They can't do that. And they know that. So what they want to do to Iran is total destruction of the state, the society, the culture. I mean, Iranian culture is 5,000 years old. So we're talking about a destruction on so many levels. They're talking about returning Iran to the Stone Age. This is the kind of talk that Israelis are very good at. And they're very good at killing little babies, the children, you know, tens of thousands of children already in Gaza in the genocide. So the first thing they did actually on the first day is killed those little girls. This is in a sense a signature of the Israeli system. This is their signature. And you know, they have good information and intel on Iran. And yet, this is the first thing they do. So they didn't do it by mistake. They did it because they wanted to do it. They wanted to break the morale of the Iranian people. The Iranian people are stronger than that. I do believe that. So this is functional. This brutality, this cruelty, this madness is very calculated. It is functional. It is there in order to take over the Middle East. And that's why Iran, and later, they're now talking about it in Hebrew every day, Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia will have to disappear as a functioning state. Now, remember, they're not just talking. They have done that in Libya, in Syria, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Yemen, in the Horn of Africa. Everywhere where the Israelis touch, they touch with death, with death and destruction. And the societies will take maybe 100 years to come back to where they were before the Israelis were involved. So I want to end by saying that this is no longer about Gaza. It's not even about Iran. It is about the project of controlling an important part of the world, which Iran is at the heart of, which Iran has been at the heart of for the last thousands of years. And that's why they will attack it, because it is an important cultural and now also an important nation in many other ways. I mean, not least of all, Iran is an industrial force, despite the attacks, despite the fact that since 1953, the West has not allowed Iran to breathe. I mean, the Iranian society, the Iranian people, the Iranian culture. So the revolution came and changed that, and that is why Iran must be attacked, must be finished as a functioning society, because it is in the way of the project of controlling the Middle East. So until Zionism is finished, I don't talk about killing people. I'm talking about, ideology. You mentioned the Nazis, Katie. Yes, that's what we're talking about. This is an equivalent of, for Jews to come up with something which is an equivalent of Nazism is a terrifying thing. It really is a sad reflection on humanity. Until that ideology and that practice is brought to a heel, none of us is safe. So what can we do? Well, we can do a lot of things, actually. BRICS is not doing enough.
Yeah.
I'm saying this not because I'm against BRICS, but because I think it has to do more in order to save our legal systems, in order to save the UN. Maybe the UN is not possible
in order to save the world, maybe, and humanity.
Exactly. Yeah, to save humanity, to save the planet first. And all this, the wells burning, the explosions. Gaza now is unlivable because they poison the air, they poison the earth, they poison the water, they poison the sea. We must stop Zionism so we can get Israel out of the UN. Why is Israel in the UN? Within few years, South Africa was removed from the UN because of apartheid. Now, Israel is 1,000,000 times more evil than South Africa ever was. So why is it still in the UN? Why is Israel the only country that never suffered any sanctions? Look at the sanctions that Iran has since 1980. Within a week of Russia moving into Ukraine, it's immediately suffered incredible sanctions. There are sanctions against China. There are sanctions against many countries, but not against Israel. What's the reason for that? So I think we have ways of controlling things like this, but we are not actually employing those methods. Why are people still trading with Israel? They didn't trade with South Africa. Why are universities in my country here working with universities in Israel, which are training the murderers? So there is a whole range of available sanctions. I just want to end by saying, any system of justice needs sanctions. If a murderer is not punished, then murder is possible. It's regulated. It's regularized. It's normalized.
Right.
That's what we have. So either the UN is operating in a manner that seems to be objective. In other words, if this country is causing the harm and another country is causing a similar harm, they need both to be punished. And actually, at the moment, the only people who are punished are the victims, like the Palestinians, the Iranians, etc. So I think this is unacceptable and will bring to the end of humanity through means which we now see. So we all share the need to control Zionism.
I'll just add that Haim's parents were both survivors of the Holocaust, so it's pretty painful and ironic, obviously, for you to see what the Israeli state is doing vis-a-vis being equivalent to Nazis.